You have the best seat in the house. This is ABC Classic Live.
Hello and welcome to the Sydney Maya Music Bowl. I'm Greta Bradman from ABC Classic, and this is the final of three very special and long-awaited Melbourne Symphony Orchestra concerts here at the Bowl this summer. And can you believe the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra have been holding these concerts for more than 90 years? And if you're listening at home on ABC Classic, yes, we did practice that one especially for you. Before going any further, your acknowledgement of country, commissioned by the MSO to start each of their concerts, composed by Yorta Yorta, soprano, composer, artistic director of Short Black Opera, and 2020 MSO composer in residence, Deborah Cheetham. It's called Long Time Living Here, and tonight you'll hear a version for strings spoken by MSO oboist Anne Blackburn in the Boonwurrung language of the Kulin Nation, where we're gathered this evening. A quick tune and then your acknowledgement of country. The Melbourne Symphony Orchestra is tuning in readiness for your acknowledgement of country, called Long Time Living Here, written by Deborah Cheetham and premiered around this time last year.
Magali Nalimbe Yadabilang Ba Tilbrook. Be here with love and respect. Yaragawa Nalimbe Gardaba Yalakit Wilam Bikut. You have come together on the land of the Yalakut Wilam. Bunjil Biraranga Boonwurrung. Bunjil's river country of the Boonwurrung. Windara, Nalimbe, Nunjin, Yarlingbu. Why have you come here today? Nanba Tilbrook. Understand and respect our country. Nalingu, Tilbrook, Wurrungi Beak, Boonwurrung. Come here and respect the strong Boonwurrung country.
Long Time Living Here by Deborah Cheetham. That string arrangement thanks to Luke Speedy Hutton and performed by members of the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. Your acknowledgement of country, Long Time Living Here, spoken by Anne Blackburn there in the Boonwurrung language with members of the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, written by Yorta Yorta soprano and composer Deborah Cheetham. And it was first premiered around this time last year on this very stage here at the Maya Music Bowl. And we would like to extend our thanks to the Boonwurrung language custodians who gifted those words to the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. We pay our respects and we thank Ngawi Dr. Carolyn Briggs AM, Jara Steele and Auntie Faye Stewart-Muir, as well as all elders of the Kulin Nation and the Boonwurrung people past present and emerging. Well, tonight, a Melbourne Symphony Orchestra bowl program to get your body moving and make you feel fantastic, a bit like a superhero. I reckon it'll be impossible to sit still, either on your platform here at the bowl or in your armchair at home via ABC Classic. Spanish Harlem, what a jazzy lineup, quite literally from the streets and clubs with Duke Ellington's Harlem to Paris, with a work Ravel wrote inspired by his time in Spanish Basque country, and then slap bang back to modern day Melbourne and the world premiere of Vanessa Perica's brand new orchestral suite, Love is a Temporary Madness. Some fans out there? You're looking forward to that one? It is a cracker. I was at the rehearsal this morning. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Well, it is time to hit the streets of Harlem and take a stroll north through the Spanish district. Please welcome Benjamin Northey to conduct your Melbourne Symphony Orchestra with Duke Ellington's Harlem. Duke Ellington's Harlem, performed by the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, with Benjamin Northey conducting, live from the Sydney Myer Music Bowl, having the orchestra stand to a rousing applause here. And very much deserved. Some satisfied faces there. Wasn't that just spectacular? And Benjamin Northey, not so fast, my friend. I'm going to have a bit of a chat, take this opportunity to talk to the maestro himself, while the MSO team do a bit of a reset in readiness for the Ravel. But that was Duke Ellington's take on Harlem, a work that premiered back in 1950. But its inspiration came as early as 1930, and you could feel that those Spanish vibes. Maybe you could spot the funeral, maybe the wedding that Duke Ellington referred to in that work. And a big shout out to the 5 sax players and the kit player, my goodness. And Mr. Benjamin Northey, maestro extraordinaire, is joining us back on the Myer Music Bowl stage.
How are you, Greta? It's good to see you.
I'm very well, Ben. Now, I saw your face when you were conducting just now, and I can describe it a little bit like if you can imagine an air guitar face from an air guitarist who thinks they are absolutely smashing it. Did you feel like quite the cool dude? I mean, conducting that music.
I certainly was having a good time. It's that kind of music. I nearly knocked the music stand over there at one point. Things got quite out of control. But it's just wonderful to be back playing music for people here in Melbourne. You know, I just feel like we've done all of the hard work, and this is our reward, to be able to hear concerts like this. But thank you for being here.
Ben, one of your projects with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra during 2020 was Up Late with Ben Northey.
Yes.
Do you feel that the audience really got to know the musicians on a different level through Up Late?
Sure. When we couldn't play concerts, especially live concerts, we were doing some interview shows, and I interviewed members of the orchestra, and we got to know a little bit about their lives outside of music, but also their journeys to their careers in professional music as well. And it was a great chance for people just to get to know the personalities and characters behind the instruments of the orchestra. So that was a lot of fun, something to do last year when we couldn't play.
And how about you? Do you feel that you got greater insight into the musicians?
Absolutely. Yeah, I learned a lot about all of them. They've all got their own unique paths and journeys. It's very interesting for people, especially younger people who might be thinking of going into a career in music, in classical music, to see how you end up getting into an orchestra, such as the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, one of the finest in the world.
Now, right now, I can see the piano is being set in readiness for Ravel's Piano Concerto in G. What do you love about that work? I know there are many folks who are incredibly excited about this one tonight with Timothy Young at the piano.
Yeah, for many people it's actually their favourite piano concerto. It's a very sparkly, fun piece of music that Ravel wrote for a tour of the United States so that he could play it and have fun on his tour. But the reason that it fits into this program so beautifully is that it does have some inflections of jazz. You hear a lot of the blues kind of scales and things that we heard in Duke Ellington's extraordinary piece. Ravel is tapping into that kind of 20th century sound that was evolving at that time of American jazz music, which Duke Ellington is really the main source of this kind of symphonic jazz.
How do you think Ravel went on that tour? Because I know that he was hoping to play it at the premiere. He saw sense of sorts and thought, well, this is going to stretch my technique maybe too far for the first time that people hear it. Yeah. But how did it end up for him?
Oh, it's a huge success. Everybody loves this concerto. It's sparkly, it's got tunes, it's fun, it's virtuosic for the pianist, and we're very fortunate to have one of Melbourne's and Australia's finest pianists, Timothy Young, joining us to play it tonight.
Timothy Young fans out there, I just heard a whoop.
Yep. Timothy Young Mafia are here, that's good to know.
Timothy Young is, I've had the pleasure of working with Tim before, performing Spanish repertoire, and there is something about Spanish-inspired music that just sets those fingers on fire for Mr. Timothy Young.
Well, it's one of the great things about this season here in Australia is we get to highlight all of these wonderful Australian musicians and celebrate their talents. Timothy Young is an extraordinary musician. He's worked with probably nearly everyone in the orchestra at various times as an accompanist, as chamber musician, and now we get to feature him as a soloist here with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra.
Now, this is the final of the MSO Sydney Myer Music Bowl concerts for this season. It is an institution. It will be back next summer, which is very exciting. What have you enjoyed the most about this season and about being here? Is it just simply coming back after last year, or are there certain things that you just love about being here at the Bowl?
Oh, look, it's definitely seeing you here tonight, all the people listening around Australia on ABC Classic, on the MSO Facebook, YouTube channel. You know, as I said before, we're so lucky to be here. Every concert that we get to play is a gift at the moment. We certainly treat it that way. It's very, very special. And as I said, no city deserves it more than Melbourne does.
Well, on that note, I will leave you to it, Mr. Benjamin Northey. And if you can somehow find your
stage,
way, yes,
yeah.
to the conductor's
Have
podium.
a great night.
Enjoy. And Benjamin Northey now doing a quick lap behind the stage of the Sydney Myer Music Bowl. It is a very full stage indeed this evening, with not just the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, but also the Vanessa Perica Big Band. A cast of thousands, less for the Ravel, but all set for your world premiere of the Vanessa Perica that is coming up last on the program this evening. The audience waiting with bated breath as Timothy Young, pianist, enters, followed by Benjamin Northey, giving him a rousing round of applause. He sits at the piano stool with a flourish of the tails. A smile from the maestro as Tim readies himself for his performance of Ravel's Piano Concerto in G. pianist Timothy Young, with Benjamin Northey and the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra playing Ravel's Piano Concerto in G. A rousing round of applause for members of the orchestra. In 1911, Ravel was holidaying with a friend in the Basque region of Spain, taking in the scenery, the music and, no doubt, the food. It was there he first set on the idea of composing a Basque concerto. And Timothy Young now returning to the stage to take a very appreciative round of applause from the audience live here at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl. There are calls for an encore. And they certainly did love that from Timothy Young. Well, what a performance from pianist Timothy Young. It's like each finger is attached to its own miniature little jetpack, just flying around the keyboard. How does he do it? Practically defying the laws of physics, being everywhere at once. Well, Tim is going to join me on stage for a conversation, so indeed we can ask him in person how it is that he manages to defy the laws of physics with his piano playing. That was Ravel's Piano Concerto in G, a work around 20 years in the making. It started off when Ravel was on holiday with a mate of his in the Basque region, no doubt taking in the sounds, the sights, and of course the food. And so he got to composing a Basque concerto, but the timing just wasn't right. So fast forward another 20 years, and all of a sudden, hey presto, it seemed like the time was nigh, and so he composed his concerto in G. Now, please welcome to the stage once again, Timothy Young. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How was that?
Good to see you, Greta. Oh, fabulous. What a great piece, hey?
Jetpacks, tell me, where do you hide them?
No jetpacks. That's all. I'm not sure where it comes from.
So,
adrenaline.
Adrenaline. So I do want to ask you, in all seriousness, Tim. There are moments in the Ravel, particularly, for instance, in the second movement, where you have that piano solo with no orchestra, no other instruments around, and I'm looking out now. We've got practically 180 degrees of blue sky, grass, trees, and all of these wonderful people here in the Sydney Myer Music Bowl. And I think, how is it that you manage to create such a sense of intimacy when performing on a stage like the Sydney Myer Music Bowl?
Oh, thank you, Greta. Well, I guess it's a question of trying to find that inner world that we all can inhabit and idealise. There's a lot of noise up on stage. Actually, I was very surprised actually how noisy it is. So it's quite a challenge actually to get in that headspace.
Do you find it exciting? I mean, I love being up here, and it's a very different performance experience because you're looking out, you're, the audience here at the bowl are eating happily, and maybe hashtag MSO or hashtag ABC Classic to reach out to us. But it's a very different experience to the concert hall. What do you love about it?
Just the fact that everyone's having a great time and sitting and relaxing, and it's the way it should be.
Timothy Young, thank you so much once again for your wonderful performance.
Thank you.
And now joining me on the stage again, Benjamin Northey, conductor extraordinaire.
Greta?
Hello, sir.
Good
Welcome
to see
back.
you again.
It's great to be here. Let's swap.
Sure.
Then you must feel better being closer to your natural habitat.
My traditional natural habitat.
Yes, quite right. Now, up next, it is the world premiere of Vanessa Perica's new orchestral suite.
Yep. This is super exciting, Greta, for all of us. It's so special when we get to play something for the first time, and especially something of this quality. So far tonight we've heard some, amazing jazz music of Duke Ellington, this masterpiece piano concerto of Maurice Ravel, both of which were premiered at some point in time as well. And now we're about to hear something very special by Australian composer Vanessa Perica, this jazz suite.
I know that you were here this morning rehearsing. I was lucky enough to be sitting up on the hill listening with a big grin on my face. What is the vibe from the orchestra for this one?
Well, you know, we're very fortunate to be joined on this occasion by the members of the Vanessa Perica Orchestra, this big band that you see in the middle of the... Stand up, guys. Great to have a look at you. Handsome gentlemen. And Andrea Keller over there on piano as well, and wonderful to have all of these musicians here. So it's been a very special chance for us to bring these two worlds of jazz and classical music together, which is what Duke Ellington was all about. You know, I listened to a recording of his arrangement of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite this morning, was sent to me. And so there's always been this interchange between classical and jazz music, and Vanessa Perica's piece is now a modern representation of that.
Well, you've been waiting all night for it, your world premiere of Vanessa Perica's brand new work, Love is a Temporary Madness. Enjoy.
Thank you very much. Enjoy, people.
Vanessa Perica, who is the composer of the world premiere you're about to hear, she hails from Perth, having studied jazz composition and arranging at the West Australian Academy of Performing Arts, studying with some huge names, including legendary Australian sax player Graham Lyle, who is her mentor. The baton is raised. Vanessa Perica Orchestra joining forces there with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra to herald in the world premiere of Perica's orchestral suite Love is a Temporary Madness. And the bowl, the atmosphere here in the bowl is absolutely electric. The audience are on their feet, they love it. They can sense something pretty special just happened. Perica herself now coming to centre stage, receiving an I bow down before you from the maestro Benjamin Northey. And now from Northey indicating to members of the orchestra, both the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra and Vanessa Perica Orchestra, particularly Carl Mackey, husband of Vanessa Perica, who was responsible for that absolutely sensational alto sax solo going on. And now the Vanessa Perica Orchestra on their feet, followed by the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. It is a sight to behold. Such extraordinary forces on stage here at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl.
On her. Have a seat, ladies and gentlemen of the orchestra. I think we should ask Vanessa to conduct one of those movements again with the orchestra. What do you think? Can we do that? As a special encore, it's, you know, I hope you love that piece as much as I do, because I just think it's one of the most astonishing things I've ever heard. It is big band orchestral writing of the highest quality, would stand up anywhere in the world. And my only wish is that when Vanessa Perica is just hugely famous, she still remembers who we are and comes back and works with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. Would you please welcome back to the stage Vanessa Perica?
Once again receiving a rousing round of applause from orchestra and audience.
Which one are you going to do? Dance at the Zinfandels? Okay, over to you. I'm going to go and have a beer. All right, see you.
Ben's off to the bar as Vanessa takes the podium. of the Zinfandels from Vanessa Perica.
The musicians of the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra and the Vanessa Perica Orchestra. Thank you so much for coming tonight and making it so special. We'll see you again at a concert soon. Thanks, Melbourne. Good night.
I think Benjamin Northey's excited. A truly special moment. Dance of the Zinfandels from Vanessa Perica's freshly minted orchestral suite, Love is a Temporary Madness, played by the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra and Vanessa Perica Orchestra, with the composer herself conducting. And look out, Benjamin Northey, some serious conducting chops from Perica there. What a way to close this season of the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra's Maya Music Bowl Summer Series. And a big thanks to the ABC Classic team for making it possible for you to have the best seat in the house. Producer Jennifer Mills and engineers